Hello, everyone, and welcome to another short video on our own devices. I'm Jean Messier, and today we're having a look at yet another piece of Cold War NBCW or CBRN equipment. This is a marking set, contamination, nuclear, biological, and chemical. And as the name implies, this was intended to be used by soldiers in the field to mark out areas contaminated by these kinds of weapons. This was manufactured by Gerätelau GmbH of Frankfurt am Main in Germany and officially adopted by NATO under the stock number NSN 9905-12-124-5995. And this was used by a number of member nations, including the United States, though it doesn't appear to have been officially adopted by Canada. Now, unfortunately, I haven't been able to find any reliable information on when this was officially adopted and retired, though the earliest manufacturing date and publication date for the manual that I've been able to find is 1982. It also appears to have been recently replaced by an updated kit, which is housed in a fabric bag rather than a metal container like this one, and which includes additional marker flags, including for other toxic substances, and the blue shield emblem denoting cultural property, as established by the 1999 Hague Protocol on the Protection of Cultural Property in the event of armed conflict. Though as the bag for this kit is printed in Universal Camouflage Pattern, or UCP, which was introduced in 2003-2004, I think it's safe to assume that the kit itself was introduced around the mid to late 2000s. But as always, if any of you have any additional information on this, please let me know in the comments or send me an email, and I will be glad to put that additional information in the description of this video. Anyway, let's have a closer look at this and see how it works. So this consists of a light painted sheet metal case, which contains 4 cardboard dispenser tubes, and the top 3 tubes contain light plastic marker flags, which are printed according to a standard NATO color code. So black lettering on a white background for nuclear radiological threats, red lettering on a yellow background for chemical warfare agents, and red lettering on a blue background for biological warfare agents. And these can easily be pulled out of kit and torn off along pre-perforated lines, making this very easy to use with heavy NBCW or CBRN gloves. Now, the last roll on the bottom holds 13 rolls of yellow fabric flagging tape, and we'll go over how that's supposed to be used in just a second. In addition, we have a compartment on the side here, accessible by this little sliding door, which holds 48 aluminum stakes. Now, on the other side, we have 2 red grease pencils, which are used to mark additional information on the flags themselves. And the straps on this unit are designed so that you can either wear it on your chest if you're using the unit alone, or on your back if you're using it as part of a team. And the idea is that the person wearing the kit would be operating, say, a radiological survey meter or a chemical warfare agent detection kit, while the other members of the team would be pulling the flags off of the kit and using them to mark out a contaminated area. Right, so how you're supposed to use this is first you open up the side compartment and pull out a pair of metal stakes. And you'll notice that these are quite sharp. And in the manual, it warns you again and again to be careful because these can very easily puncture your CBRN suit. Then you simply telescope them together as so. You then pull out the appropriate marker flag and then thread the point through this slot at the top. And what this does is produce a sort of crossbar at the top that stops the flag from curling in on itself. You then slot the top of the flag into the top slot of the stake, and then the point into the bottom slot. And then you have a self-supporting flag that you can stick into the ground. And if you want to raise this above an obstacle, say bushes or a fence, well, you can telescope a few more of these stakes together, but the manual warns you not to stack more than 4 of them together because otherwise they'll get quite wobbly. Now, this self-threading feature also allows you to wrap the flag around tree branches or wire fences and things like that. And if you have a particularly large area to mark out, what you can do is drive a number of stakes in a row, thread the yellow marker tape between them, and then hang the flags off the marker tape. And in the manual, it advises you to stabilize these stakes by using additional stakes and the marker tape as guy lines. And finally, once a contaminated area is marked out, the final step would be to write any additional relevant information directly onto the flags using grease pencil. So for example, the time of burst for a nuclear detonation, the radioactive dose rate measured at the time the flags were planted, the biological or chemical warfare agent, if known, and the unit that planted flags. And one last fun little detail to point out here are these very 80s looking sheets at the back of the manual, which are intended to be filled out and mailed into the Department of the Army if there are any inaccuracies or other problems with the manual itself. So overall, a very slick, very well-designed system. The painted sheet metal construction of this makes it very easy to decontaminate, while the cardboard dispenser tubes, and I have a couple of extras here to show you, are designed to be disposable. The one design flaw that I will point out is that the stakes are actually kind of difficult to get out of this compartment, which I imagine would be even more difficult wearing an NBCW or CBRN suit. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and a big shout out to Gord Crosley for lending me this unit to show you. I'll see you next time in another video where we'll look at yet more CBRN gear and other devices just like this one. Until then, I'm Jean Messier from Our Own Devices. Have a great day.